we sent it out on Monday. We had 2 other emails going out. Tuesday morning, client sends me an email, says, hey, Eli, how do we stop the campaign? I don't want the other emails going. I'm like, oh crap, what happened? So I call her. I'm like, not even emailing back. I call her. I'm like, what's wrong? She goes, everybody replied. What do you mean everybody replied? She goes, everybody replied. I was helping her with her calendar too. Lo and behold, she was booked for the entire next month.
Yeah.
From that one email, she ended up doing over $12,000 in sales by that Friday.
Welcome to Growing Your Business with Buddy Broyles, helping businesses share their voice, build authority, and grow through meaningful conversations. Joining me today on the Growing Your Business podcast is my friend Ely Delaney, and he's the creator of the Follow-Up Rock Star system. How you doing, Eli?
I'm doing awesome. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, great. So let's talk about what you do and what sets you apart.
Yeah, so the Follow-Up Rockstar system is a coaching program designed to teach entrepreneurs, especially solopreneurs, business services like B2B type of people, how to follow up more effectively, because we all know the fortune's in the follow-up. The problem is most people are horrible at actually doing it.
Yes.
And so a lot of people are like, okay, I know I need to follow up, but I don't know what to say. I don't know how often. I don't want to bug people. And they drop the ball.
Yes.
Or the opposite side, they follow some of the internet quote unquote gurus out there, and then they're pitching their stuff 3 times a day to the point where everybody's just tired of them and will never do business with them. My whole framework and methodology has been based around how do we find that middle ground? How do we build relationships, follow up on a consistent basis without being an annoying pest, adding value, and making sure that when somebody gets an email from you, instead of going, oh, what is he selling me today? They're like, oh, what's he got for me today?
Yeah.
And they look forward to it, and they open it, they read it, they get more excited about it, and they'll even reply back to it. And so that's kind of what the whole framework has been around. And it's great for a lot of the clients that I'm working with because they didn't want to do all that other stuff. And I tell them how I work, and they're like, oh, you mean we can do something that I'm going to not feel icky about?
Yeah. And
that's where it came from.
Why do we struggle so much? And I think it's across the board with follow-up. And from my vantage point, Eli, it's fatigue.
Yeah.
I put so much effort into just the front end, meeting people, starting the relationships, systems, all of this. And then so finally when we get great leads and whatnot, I think I'm
just
tired.
Yeah.
So it's fatigue for me.
It's definitely fatigue is a piece of it.
Yeah.
But the other part with it is everybody's taught, go chase leads, get in front of new eyeballs.
Yes.
Which is, I've got a 4-part process that I work with people, basically talking about the sales process, which is attract. How do you get in front of those people, get in front of those eyeballs? The second one is capture, which is how do you get them to raise their hand and go, okay, tell me more. And for a lot of people, that could be a lead capture device on their website and things like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's okay, I think I need your service. Can we talk? Can I get on a call with you? The third one is the nurture. And the nurture is how do you build the relationship? Because let's face it, 20% of the people that we meet are possibly ready to buy today.
Yeah.
That's your max. That's your absolute max. Most of them are probably 10%.
Yeah.
You got 20% on the bottom, they'll never buy anything from you. But you got that 80% in the middle or the 60% in the middle, depending on which number you want to go with.
Yeah.
And those are the people that aren't ready yet. They don't know, some of them don't know that they have a problem or don't believe they have a problem. Some people are thinking about it, but they're not serious. Maybe they're thinking about it. They think it's a great idea, but they don't have the money today. There's a billion different reasons why.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so that's the part where most people ignore those. They just focus on that top 10 to 20% and they ignore everything else.
Yes.
And part of it is fatigue, and part of it goes back to what I was saying earlier. They just don't want to bug people. They're afraid they're going to be annoying because they've had those people that are on the phone every other day. Hey, you ready to buy yet? Send an email. Hey, by the way, we got to buy one, get one free. And after a while, they get a few of those and they're like, God, just go away.
Just unsubscribe.
Exactly. And so that's why most people don't follow up.
Yeah.
Is because they're focusing on getting new eyeballs, because that's like, I need more leads. I need more leads. I need more leads.
Yes.
The problem is they don't need as many leads as they think they do.
Right.
They need to follow up with the prospects, the people who've raised their hand and said, okay, tell me more. You can get an additional 10 to 20% close rate off of those people, just staying in touch with them and being there, being top of mind when they're ready. That's all it takes.
Fantastic. And you've written a book about this. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm here in the studio. And for those listening, you'll just have to envision I have this really great purple book called The Follow-Up Code.
Yes.
So, which is available probably anywhere you can find
Yeah.
good books.
Pick it up on Amazon.
The fortune, as the quote in the bottom, the fortune is in the follow-up. Tell me about the process of writing this book. And like what made you start?
Okay.
It's part of your. Let's walk back to the creation of this book because it's a wealth of knowledge and it's your knowledge.
Yeah. So this is actually my third book. The first two books were written in 2013 and 2014, and after I did those, I really just wasn't in the mood to write another one. And so I kind of put the whole thing on the back burner, stopped.
Yeah.
First one was written with my partner at the time. Second one I wrote as a solo. And for the longest time, I just had no desire to write another book. And then more recently, and this was just in the last year, people are coming up to me, okay, which one of your books is about email marketing? Because that's what I do, right? And I'm like, well, there's some email stuff in both of them, but it's not, neither of them are really about email marketing. They're like, you're the email marketing dude. Why don't you have a book on email marketing? I was like, well, crap, I should probably write one. And so I started thinking about it. And the fun part about this is I wasn't really sure what I wanted to write. But for the last several years, especially since COVID happened, 2020, when all of our lives just blew up.
Everything changed. Yeah.
I started studying Bushido, which is the code of the samurai. And they go by 7 virtues. And these are simple things that we should all be doing anyway, kind of like kindness, respect, honor, integrity, all the things we should be doing that we seem to have lost as society. And I'm sitting there and I've been studying this for the last several years. It's helped me get through a lot of stuff. But then I was like, what if I wrote the 7 virtues of email? And it kind of came together at that point. And I'm like, okay, this could be fun.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of outlined the whole process. And at first it took a lot for me to get it started. And it went fast once I got it going. But like my first chapter, I started literally writing Thanksgiving of this last year.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get to it a whole lot. I got back, got sucked into work, all these different things. And then I was like, no, every weekend I have to write a chapter.
Wow.
And so I started pushing through it. And it just came together really well. The outline that I had created just flowed, it felt good. And so it really, once I sat down and made the time to do it, it went very fast. So between November being the first, not really touching it at all in December, getting back to it in January, I actually launched it in April. I mean, it was fast once I got going through it. And it went together the way I wanted it to. And as a whole, I loved it because it's designed to be smaller. I want it to be an easy read.
Yes.
I wanted it to feel like a conversation, which has been the number one bit of feedback I've gotten from people. Most people have said a lot of great things about they're learning how to think about email differently and stuff like that. But they're like, it feels as I'm reading it, it was so easy to read. If I felt like I was sitting there having coffee with you and you were just telling me this stuff. And I'm like, that's what I want.
Perfect.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah. Let's talk about the follow-up code as an implementation. So everybody likes a story. Let's talk about somebody that you're coaching through the Rockstar system, the follow-up code. Take us on a journey of someone who, like me, honestly, everybody is like, I know there's a lot I don't know. Yeah. So you've met people who don't know. And let's talk about walking them through to how are they doing now? Yeah.
So we've got a couple of different directions we could go with stories on this, and I'll be happy to cut them down and do both sides because we've got somebody who did extremely high level well, and then we had somebody who she'd been in business for 4 years, and she'd studied a lot of stuff in email marketing and how to just market your business and all that kind of stuff. And she'd built a pretty good sized list, but she just wasn't getting the numbers that she knew she needed to. And so she came to me and she's like, okay, I need to fix this because my emails aren't working. I'm like, okay. And so she came on board with her. And the funny thing about it was I told her exactly what it looks like, how it looks and acts and feels, and it's very personalized. We're moving away from the pitching all the time. We're moving away from the newsletter. We're making it look and act and feel like you had an idea, open up Gmail, and did the thing, just sent out an email. Yeah. And so she was like, okay, I like the idea of this. Let's do it. And she joined my coaching program. And she drug her feet for quite a bit. It was probably almost 6 months where she drug her feet and just didn't do the work the way she should have done. Yeah. And then things got a little tighter and she was like, all right, I need to move. And so she did. She literally got 6 months worth of work done in 6 weeks because she she stepped up and did the work. When she launched her campaign, she comes back to me 2 weeks after she launched it. She goes, Ely, and she said this in front of the entire group. She's like, Ely, I got to tell you, when I signed up with you, I know what you told me, and I trusted you, but I wasn't entirely sure I trusted that it would work as well as you said it would. Holy crap. I've had more people reply back to my emails thanking me for those emails and starting conversations, and more people asking to get on my calendar because they said they think they need my help now than I have in 4 years combined.
Wow.
And it was just because we took the exact same list, nobody knew, and just changed the conversation and made it personal, like made it very conversational instead of a boring newsletter that talks about how amazing we are and all the things we offer and all the sales we have and all the things clients are saying about us and all the stuff that nobody cares about.
Right.
And we say, hey, I got something cool I want to share with you. This is a book that I read. This book really helped me when I was struggling through X, Y, Z, and I just want to share it with you. Hopefully you'll get something out of it too.
Right.
Like that, literally somebody could take a script like that and use that as an email.
Right.
And they're super powerful.
Starts a conversation.
Absolutely.
Opens a conversation, really.
Yes.
And so, and there's a lot to unpack here, and that's why people should join your program. But let's talk about being authentic and genuine. And that's why you and I are both podcasters, and I'll ask you about your podcast in a minute. But what is your thought on the risk we take, and it's a calculated risk, when we employ AI as a tool for communications?
AI conversation. Everybody's got to have it.
The concern about, where does AI replace you or does it? And I'm a big advocate, Ely, of the reason you and I are sitting here is because I want to have human, authentic conversations.
Absolutely.
I, as a layman, compared to all the things is I see AI as strictly a tool. It's an ideation tool, but it is not something I'm going to publish. The whatever we're going to send out to people is something I or someone on my team has written, reviewed, and blessed because it's our voice.
Yes.
Right. So talk to me about that, the whole concept mindset.
So other side of my business is actually ghostwriting for clients as well. And so I will do a lot of that. But the beauty of it is what makes it different. And this is where the AI conversation can come in is a lot of people right now are, whether it comes to email or social media or any medium, honestly, but I see it mostly in email, is that they're just saying, okay, I need to send an email to my people, and this is what I want to talk about. Write me an email. And ChatGPT does its thing, and they're like, oh, this is awesome, and they copy, paste, send. It might be better than what they would have wrote from scratch.
Sure.
Because most people are not writers.
Yeah.
However, that doesn't mean it's actually any good. And so I'm a big fan of tools like AI are powerful to help leverage your time, but they are never a replacement.
Yes.
And so as an example with that, it's a great tool for brainstorming. Like you can go to any, whatever, to pick your favorite poison for AI and just say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. Here's what my clients look like. And here's some of the basic things that I know from conversations I've had with them. Can you help me come up with 30 different topics that I could talk about that I could post for social media or that I could send out as an email for my newsletter? And it's going to come back with a bunch of stuff. Now, even out of 30, like I use that even for my, I do reels and mine are one-off, look at the camera, talk for 60 to 90 seconds, and then that's the whole thing, start to finish. I use that to help me brainstorm ideas because we forget 90% of the stuff we actually know. Like we take it for granted.
Yeah.
And so what I'll do is I'll have it go through and help me come up with like 30 ideas. Well, out of those 30 ideas, 10 of them are going to be garbage. I don't want anything to do with them, and I just delete them.
Yep.
The other 20, I'm like, okay, I could talk on that, and I could talk on that one. I can talk on that one. And so I pick the ones that I want. I get rid of the ones I don't want. Now, it gave me the spark. And now I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk about this one. And I literally hit record, start my timer, and I'll pick one off the list and just start talking. So it's helped me generate the concept, the idea of what to say, but it's not telling me what to say.
Right.
There's a difference between the two. So it's great for stuff like that. I have a lot of my clients when I'm working with them, I mentioned a book earlier, right? So one of the topics or one of the buckets that we'll talk about are books that you would recommend to your people.
Yes.
And generally not your own. Do not promote your own book in this because that's self-promotion, even if it's 99 cents on Amazon. You still get benefit from it. It's not a coming from the heart, I want to share something cool with you. And so I say, okay, think about some books that you've read that really made an impact on your business that you think your clients would get value out of. And a lot of times they'll struggle with it because they just can't think of it. So I made a list of, I think, 20 books or something like that are really great, common books. And I'm like, here's a starting point. Go look at it. Oh, I read that one. Oh, I read that one. I read that one. The funny thing is, have you read The Go-Giver by Bob Burg?
I have not.
Okay, I'm surprised.
Yeah, if
So
I got that in an email from you, I'd be like, oh,
yeah.
Eli's thinking
Well,
about
you
me.
will.
I should read this
You
book.
will, trust me.
Wow.
But so that's a book that's super common in the personal development and especially the business world. It talks about coming from a place of giving. And when you walk into a room, especially in business, you go to a networking event or whatever, you walk into the room and the whole idea is walk in the room saying, okay, how can I help somebody in this room? Or who can I help in this room?
Yes.
Not who are my clients in this room? Or
Right.
how can I
make money out of this room?
How can I make money out of this room? Right. And that's like the baseline idea of the whole book. But it's a phenomenal book. Bob Burg wrote it. It's B-U-R-G. And it's really cool because I got introduced to it probably 15 plus years ago. I don't even remember exactly when. And I read it. I loved it. It just felt comfortable. It was a lot of my methodology anyway.
Yeah.
And so I've been a big fan. Over the years, somehow Bob and I got connected on Facebook. And it was funny because we're connected. I was like totally freaking out because I'm like, hero kind of thing.
Star power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like gushing over. I was like fangirling out. And next thing I was running a summit. And I was like, you know what, let me ask and see if Bob would be interested in this. So I reached out to him. I was like, hey, I'm putting this thing together. I would really love it if you'd be interested in coming to speak on the thing. He's like, well, I don't really do summits. I'm like, well, I have a podcast. He's like, no, I'll do that.
Wow.
And so he immediately said yes. I ended up having him on the show. This was my first podcast, which I started in 2012. So this was 2012, 2013, probably 2013 is probably when the interview happened. We hit it off, got to be really, real comfortable with each other. We still talk online. We've never been in the same room, but I consider him a friend. And I tell that story all the time, right? I mean, I tell that story on podcasts and when I speak from stage and all kind of stuff, because it's such a powerful book and it's a powerful story to talk about, the impact that he's made on me. And so many people understand it because they have read the book or at least heard of the book. And I always joke about the fact that someday he's going to write me a check for all the books that I've helped promote for him because it's definitely in the thousands.
Sure.
Everything I just said could go in an email.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is that I give that list, and that book is one of them on the list. Almost every one of my clients ends up putting that book on the list.
How about that?
And the cool thing is, and I know this personally from the ghostwriting standpoint, I interview my clients when I talk to them. I don't just write, like if they said, hey, I'm going to use this book, write it for me. That's not how it works. I'm pulling information. I'm pulling their stories, their thoughts, their ideas, their wisdom, their experiences, all the stuff that makes them them. And I interview them, and then I go back and I listen to it. I read the transcript, and I pull out the quirks and all the things that make them unique. So it's their voice, like you were saying earlier. I have either written or seen clients write an email about the Go-Giver book no less than probably 15 times.
Yeah.
Every single one of them is different.
How about that?
Because every one of them has their own story and their own experience.
Yes.
That's what makes us different. That's what AI can't do.
Correct.
And so anything that you do with AI, it's okay to use it as a brainstorming tool to get the spark, but don't let it take over you.
Yep.
And even with myself, I treat it like a junior copywriter to help me like clean up some drafts and give me some ideas and stuff like that. But there is not a single thing that I ever touch it for that would possibly go out to the public that I don't read at least 2 to 3 times more.
Yeah.
And I make my own tweaks, and I always make sure that it says the right thing. And if anything is wrong, I'm going to fix it. It's never going to see the light of day without me putting my personal touch to it. And most of the time, the best of the best. I mean, I've done some pretty cool training on my AI. It gets me 80 to 90% there.
Yeah.
Most people's get it, in my opinion. Most people, when I read their stuff, they're getting it at about 40% there.
Right. They're not investing the time to really get it right for them.
And none of it is ever 100%.
Yeah. Fair. Well, we ourselves are never 100%. You know, we're imperfect as we are. I want to go back to the power of podcasting and getting to meet people through podcasting. You've been doing it a long time, like Bob Berg.
Yep.
Right. You can, and I tell people this, and the reason I run a podcast studio and host several podcasts, and I'm grateful for you being on this show today.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah. You can have coffee with people or if you're lucky, have lunch and so on. Maybe they'll take your phone call. But Bob accepted your invite readily, happily to your podcast because he understands the authentic conversations that happen here. Let's talk about your podcast journey and your current podcast. Let's start again how you started, which was early in the podcast game, all the way to present day.
Yeah. So funny thing. I don't know if I told you this. My first show was actually, I did an internet TV show, and it was called What is the Fusion? And the whole concept was fusion being how you and I can fuse together to create something bigger, better, and more efficient for the world, right?
Right.
And I had an actual, we had a camera videographer come. We did it at coffee shops. So we would promote the coffee shop, and we'd have the whole setup and the gear and everything. We did that in 2010.
Yeah. Wow.
Nowadays, you call that a YouTube channel. But back then, it was a big deal, and YouTube didn't exist.
Right.
But in 2012, podcasting was just getting popular. A lot of people don't even realize where the term podcast came from. Some of us that are old enough know the iPod was like Apple's big push into the media world. That was the first generation that came out with the idea of what would eventually become the iPhone.
I think it weighed about 2 pounds.
Yeah, it weighed about 2 pounds. You could toss it to somebody and knock them out. I still have, I think I finally might have got rid of it, but I had one. I held onto it forever because I just loved that thing. And even after it died, I still just, I missed
nostalgia.
It. But they were an iPod, which is where you could take your entire library of music. It was an MP3 player is what it was, but you put all your stuff on there, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, what if we could have like radio shows, but they're async, meaning we can record it and people can listen to it whenever they want.
On demand. Yeah.
And that was totally unheard of back then. And I was like, that's kind of a cool idea. And I was like, I want to do a podcast. No clue what I was doing, but I figured it out. My first couple episodes were recorded on Skype.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's how old it was. Audio only. And it took off. I had a lot of fun with it. I took it to 104 episodes before I just kind of got burned out and decided, I'm going to take a break for a bit. And I never came back to it. That was 2012 is when I started that. And it was funny because for the longest time, I was like, I just like being a guest on other people's shows. And so for the longest time, that's what I did.
Yeah.
Like my claim to fame was like after 100 episodes, I stopped counting. And that was in 2014-ish, 15 maybe.
Yeah.
I stopped counting at that point.
It could be 500 by now.
Right. I'm like, I know it's over 300. I don't know what that is, but I know it's over 300.
Right.
And I've been saying that for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I did that for the longest time. And then the new show, back in 2019, I got back into doing a lot of traveling for speaking. And I was in Miami for an event speaking. And the MC of the show, they had a smaller group, so they would hand the mic around and have her pass it around. Like, okay, who are you? How do you help your clients? And what do you want to get out of the next 3 days? And everybody does their thing. And then they handed the mic over to the speakers. And most of the speakers are like, hey, this is me. I have this really cool program, and I'm going to be talking about this, and I'll tell you more about the program when I speak. And I'm just listening to these guys back to back pretty much say the same thing. I'm like, okay, you guys are all lame. They're all talking about basically, oh, by the way, show up tomorrow because I'm going to pitch you, right?
Yeah.
And so it got to me, and I'm like, okay, those are all lame things. I'm like, so here's the deal. I'm Eli, and I'm going to be talking about follow-up stuff and things you can do with email. So please show up because I'm going to teach you some really cool stuff. But the reality is, and this was at the time I lived in Portland, Oregon, and so I was in Miami. I'm like, that we are here in Miami, Florida, and I actually came in from Portland, Oregon, which is almost coast to coast, as far away airport to airport as you can get. the reality is that I love coming to things like this because I love meeting cool people. And I love speaking, but meeting cool people is the most important thing. The MC of the show grabbed onto that. And so he started introducing me. Every time my name came up, I'm the guy who flies across the country to meet cool people. And it ended up taking off, becoming its own kind of thing. I ended up getting these wristbands that say meet cool people on them. I ran a mastermind for several years. We actually launched that during COVID when everybody was freaking out and didn't know how to, they didn't know how to communicate without people, and so we did that. We just recently retired it just because I was burned out. I had too many things to do. And then the podcast came from that. I had a lot of people kept bugging me about the podcast, and I was like, I'm not ready yet. And I finally did. I launched it on my 50th birthday, and we are now, I think this morning, 141 episodes in.
Yeah. That's stamina.
Yeah.
As a fellow podcaster.
Yeah. Every week.
People think that podcasting is easy. Some people do. Some people have done it, no otherwise, obviously. Yeah. But the hardest part is after you stop recording.
Yes.
There's a lot to be done there.
Well, and that's you want to go back to the AI conversation. I have AI, I've trained it to literally do my podcast production for me, which is phenomenal. I'm taking what would take 3 to 5 hours, and I cut it down to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is
pretty great.
Yeah. But I have a really cool system. I'm considering selling it because I got a couple podcasters going, please tell me.
You need to put a book and a podcast together for that, Eli. Yep. I'd say I'd love to sit in on that and send a couple of my editors your way. And that's how we met, really. I mean, we're both members of a Success Champions network.
Yep.
Great networking opportunity, community. And I've, being connected with you on LinkedIn, I've followed your stuff and said, man, that guy's got to figure it out. Have been really impressed with the different ways you present your media, your guests, and basically there are conversation starters every time you post something, and you're very good at that. And so I was really grateful when we connected and we offered each other the opportunity to be on each other's podcasts, which you're doing me a great service being here today. Let's talk about who makes a good guest on the Meet Cool People podcast.
So that's one thing that is kind of unique with mine is that I don't just let guests come in.
Yeah.
They are people that I meet in my journeys. That's the whole point of Meet Cool People. It's in my journeys, whether it's in person. I mean, I've literally had people that I've met at the airport that I'm like, you're cool. We're going to have a conversation. You want to be on my podcast? And so it's purely an invite-only show.
Yeah.
I have a conversation with somebody. I get to know them a bit, and I'm like, I like your energy. I like what you're doing. I want to hang out with you more.
Yeah.
And the world needs to see your brilliance. And that's literally how I pick my guests.
Yeah, that's great.
There are times where I do solo episodes because I haven't got somebody booked in, and I'm okay with that. It's not because I want to do more solo episodes because that's more work for me. So trust me, when you're going to have a podcast, bring in guests because it's a lot easier. You don't have to think as much.
Yeah, you get to listen and talk less.
Yeah, exactly. But that's how I pick my guests. Is I have a conversation with somebody, and to be perfectly honest, and the cool thing is that actually your episode is the one that went live this morning.
Oh, terrific!
I don't know if you saw the email.
Yeah, I will definitely post links to that, everybody, in the show notes.
Yeah, but those are the kind of things where I'm just like, most of the time it takes a bit for me to get to know somebody well enough to feel like I want to have that conversation on the show.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that are just immediate. And you were one of those people. It's like, I'd already followed your stuff as well. Cause it was you and I were talking about this, the joke about the fact that we've been following each other for at least a year.
Yeah.
Possibly 2 years.
Kind of walking in parallel lanes.
Yeah.
Right?
And we just never connected. We never had a conversation. And then you showed up on the podcast meetup group for SEN, and I'm just like, hey, I know you.
Yeah.
And we hit it off, and I was like, yeah, I like him. Well, why don't you come on my show? And that's literally how I pick the guests every time.
Well, and you followed up.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
You're living true to your code and your business as you reached out, made the connection there, and that's why we're here today, right?
Yeah.
And so for people who are like me, I'll be honest, the follow-up, I think, is the hardest part of my business, Eli. It is the hardest part. The other stuff, I can fake it, make it, get help doing, but the follow-up really has to come from you. You recognize and you know yourself and you know your business and the people that you want as customers, the people you want to work with. The follow-up kind of comes from inside that these people I want to reach out to, because especially following from what I know about your system is, it's got to come from you.
Yes.
And it has to be perceived, especially as it is coming from you, and you're not pitching them you're walking in the room, as Bob Berg would put it, is you're approaching it as a giver, right? So for people who are stuck like me, what would you say to help them, encourage them to get past that, as you've clearly made it past that yourself?
Yes. So the first thing I'm gonna give you a script that we even use.
Great.
Go make a list of the people you've talked to in, say, the last 90 to 120 days that you haven't followed up with. And you're just going to send them an email. And subject line is going to be, I'm such a slacker.
Be humble.
It'll grab their attention
Yep.
right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say, hey, I haven't followed up with you and I haven't stayed in touch the way I should. And I'm sorry for that. I know I dropped the ball and I've made a promise that I'm going to be better at that. I would love to hear what's new and exciting with you. And then just sign it. Don't put a PS saying, hey, by the way, we got to buy one, get one free sale, because that's going to screw the whole thing up. Don't add any fancy images. Don't make it look like a newsletter. Don't make it fancy. Just make it look like you opened up Gmail and had a heartfelt thought to send them this email. Now, you could take this and you can send it to your entire list. But all you're doing is you're basically throwing yourself under the bus saying, hey, I dropped the ball. I screwed up. I'm sorry. And I promise I'm going to do better. I want to know about you. What's going on? There's no pitch. There's no agenda. All it is you being a nice person, trying to communicate with them, just to have a conversation. Start with that and see what happens. Literally, the first time that I ran that, we had a 3 email campaign, but that's literally the script for the first campaign.
That's great.
15 years ago, easily. 15 plus years ago. I don't remember when for sure. We sent it out on Monday. We had 2 other emails going out. Tuesday morning, client sends me an email, says, hey, Eli, how do we stop the campaign? I don't want the other emails going. I'm like, oh, crap, what happened? So I call her. I'm like, not even emailing back. I call her. I'm like, what's wrong? She goes, everybody replied. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean everybody replied? She goes, everybody replied. I was helping her with her calendar too, like doing automation calendar stuff. And lo and behold, she was booked for the entire next month.
Yeah.
From that one email, she ended up doing over $12,000 in sales by that Friday.
Yeah.
By sending one email, no pitch, just touching base.
Yep.
It is that simple. Treat people like they're real human beings, like you care about them, and stop treating them like an ATM. They will respond. They will appreciate you. They will come back to you and reply to those conversations and ask you questions. And if they're ready, if they think they might need your help, they will ask for it at that point. That's the beauty of it. You don't even have to pitch them on all the stuff you're doing. You don't have to sell them anything. All you have to do is say, hey, you know what? Let's talk. It's been a while. And they will respond. And the beauty of it is it takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
Because you're not trying to sell them. Most of us hate doing sales.
Yeah.
We like to make money. Nothing wrong with that. I'm a capitalist. I have no problem with that. But we don't like to sell. And there's an old adage. It's like people don't like to be sold, but they like to buy.
Yes.
So if you can put them in that situation where you're not selling to them, you're there as a resource when they're ready. They know it, no question about it, and they see how valuable you are to them, whether it has to do with your business or not. Somebody buys, we talk about the Go-Giver. Somebody buys the Go-Giver when I give them a recommendation. Yes, I do have an affiliate link for Amazon. I'll make like 30 cents off of that. I think they send me like enough affiliate commissions that I'll buy like a mocha a year. I mean, It's not that much. So it's not like I'm doing it for the money. But I get so much feedback from that. And then I get people that are like, hey, you know what? I've been struggling with this piece. I'm wondering if you can help me with it. Like I literally had a client come back to me 10 years and 3 months after he met me at a speaking gig in Scottsdale, Arizona. And it was on July 3rd that I met him. I spoke at a SCORE event. And literally 10 years and 3 months later, September 16th, I remember the date because it freaked me out. And he says, hey, Eli, I've been on your list for a couple of years now. Thank you so much for everything you've done. My son's starting a construction company, and I was wondering if you can help us with some marketing stuff. I replied back, I'm like, tell me more. I'd love to help if I can. So I go into my CRM. I'm like, what does a couple of years mean? That's when I found out it was July 3rd, 2010.
Not a couple of years.
Yeah.
A long time.
10 years.
Amazing. Well, to close out the show, earlier you gave a tip about the same type, a different type of email, but this is part of your program is to send just a cordial email, recommend a book.
Yeah.
So for everybody, we're going to give you two opportunities here. One, in the show notes, all the ways to contact Ely are there. So just scroll down on whatever platform you are. Everything he shared with me is there. Plus his affiliate link for Bob Berg's book is there. So you can send out those emails to recommend that. And then finally, the link to buy your copy of the follow-up code. So you got two books in there. So that's two possible emails you can send out to people, including the I screwed up basically email. So you got a lot of good out of this one podcast.
Yeah.
But obviously that's the beginning. So reach out. I'm encouraging them to reach out to you, Ely. Get on your list. Get some knowledge from you, and get unstuck from this follow-up mess that we've all created for ourselves. So I'll close the show there and say, Ely, thank you for being on the show, sharing your wealth of knowledge, what you do in your business, and of course, all the good that you're doing. You know, I would say, hopefully Bob agrees with this. I think you're a go-giver, man. That's what I've known in the short time we've known each other, but the long time we've known each other, you could say, is I recognize that a fellow go-giver in you, and I'm glad that you recommended this book to me and, of course, everybody that's watching. So thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it.